Hello class, today we have a really special lesson and it's on a very interesting animal, the frog. The frog has a special life cycle and goes through different metamorphoses. And to learn more about this, we are going to start the lesson with the video. So let's watch this video and then we'll discuss it together as a class.
Fish than a frog. A tadpole lives in water. It uses its gills to breathe and it has no legs. The tadpole swims, eats plants and algae.
Now that we've finished this video, let's talk about it. What did you notice about the frog's life cycle? Right. Yes, it started as an egg. Right. It had a tail and it kind of looked like a fish. Yep, and then it had a tail and legs. Right, and then lastly it was a frog. Right, it had 4 stages of metamorphosis. And the life cycle of a frog is very interesting. Yeah, and it's different from other animals. Let's discuss it and write it down on the board together. Who can tell me the first phase in a frog's life cycle? Right, an egg. Frogs lay fertilized eggs. And we're going to draw a picture. Looks like this. And let's write a sentence about this stage in a frog's life. Who can help me write this sentence? Tell me about the egg. Right, it's the first stage. The frog's first stage is an egg. Let's write that. Here we go. We got a picture and a sentence. That was great. All right, stage 2. Who can tell me stage 2? Yes, it does look like a fish. What's it called? A tadpole, correct. All right, we're gonna draw a picture of a tadpole. It has a round body and a little tail. And who can tell me about this tadpole? We gotta write a sentence. Right, it has a tail and it swims like a fish and it has gills like a fish and breathes in the water. Let's write that. The tadpole has a tail and gills. Nice. All right, moving on. Let's go to number 3. Who can tell me about what is the third phase of the frog's life? Yeah, a froglet. Why is the froglet so interesting? It's growing lungs. You're right. And it's growing lungs and legs. It has back legs. During this life cycle, the frog doesn't even eat. It just absorbs the nutrients from its tail. So, once the tail's gone, we have phase 4. Who can tell me phase 4? Frog. Right. Yeah, the frog doesn't have a tail anymore and now it eats. What does it eat? Insects. You're right. Let's write a sentence. All right. Oh, here's the froglet one. The froglet has eggs and lungs. And then we're on number 4. The frog eats insects and has arms. So, now that we've modeled all this together on the board, we are going to divide up into pairs. And we're going to do think, pair, share. So let's get into partners. And I'm going to hand out everyone a paper. From there, you'll fill out the paper together with your partner and then we'll discuss it. All right, class, now that you and your partners have finished up labeling your diagram, let's come back together as a class and discuss it. Who has the first phase they can share? Right, eggs. Perfect. Who has the second stage? What's the second stage in the life cycle of a frog? The tadpole, right. It looks more like a fish. Perfect. Who has the third phase? Oh, nice. You got it. It's a froglet. It still has a tail, but it's grown legs and lungs. Nice. Who has the fourth and last stage of a frog? The frog. Good job. All right. It sounds like everyone has gotten all the 4 stages down. Now we're going to do independent work. And I'm going to have everyone work on their own to complete a diagram. And in the diagram, you're going to do similar to what I showed you on the board. And you're going to draw a picture of each cycle of the frog, the metamorphosis. And under the picture, I need you to write one complete sentence about each phase of the frog's life. Yep, and we're going to do that independently. But of course, if you have any questions, I am here to help you. And there's colored pencils and markers and all that you need so you can make really nice pictures. All right, perfect. All right, now that everyone has completed their independent work, we are going to have another discussion that I think is really interesting. And I wanted to ask everyone in the class, what other animals can you compare a frog to, their life cycle? Right, a butterfly. A butterfly also goes through a metamorphosis. That's very interesting. I like that. But a frog can also be similar to a cow. How is a frog like a cow? Right, it's born and it dies. Right, it breathes air and has lungs. Right, yeah, so even though they're very different, they also have similarities, don't they? How is a frog like a crocodile? Right, they come from an egg. Yeah, they hatch out of an egg. Right. And they also, yeah, they breathe air. How are they different? Right, a crocodile is cold-blooded and it needs the sun to warm itself. Yeah, and it's similar because it also dies like a frog. So all these animals have life cycles and they have similarities and differences to frogs. So what I want you to do before you leave class today is I want you to think about how a frog is similar or different to another animal and just write it down on a piece of paper. Or you can draw a little picture how it's the same or different. And then that's what we're going to do for our exit ticket today. So thank you for participating, you class. This has been such a fun project. So for the lesson today, the title is A Frog's Life Cycle, and it is on understanding birth, reproduction, and death. The subject is science, and it is for 3rd grade. The standard objectives for Idaho State standards is 3LS1-1, and that is students will develop models to demonstrate the living things. Although they have unique and different life cycles, all have birth, growth, reproduction, and death in common with other animals. And the learning objective is, by the end of the lesson, each student will make a labeled diagram of a frog's life cycle and explain what happens in each stage in a complete sentence, from egg to tadpole to froglet to frog, with 80% accuracy. The assessment is a summative assessment, and it's just the same thing where a student will make a diagram with the 4 stages of the frog's life cycle and be able to explain each cycle in a complete sentence. For the rubric, I have 1, few stages correct, missing or incomplete sentences. 2, most stages correct, sentences partial or somewhat unclear. And 3, all stages correct, labeled and explained with a complete sentence. Materials are going to be a YouTube video on a frog's life cycle, just something age appropriate. And then you're going to need a whiteboard for modeling the frog life cycle worksheets, and then just something to color with, like crayons, colored pencils, markers. Technology, we're going to be using, I said, a short YouTube video on the frog's life cycle. And for the high leverage practices to support all learners, I have used visuals and real life examples to anchor concepts, provide scaffolds such as partially filled in diagrams, use partner, I did think, pair, share, and group sharing to check for understanding. And then I already shared the instructional sequence earlier and the exit ticket earlier. And then for differentiation, I have 3. For ELLS, I would provide students with visuals, word banks, and sentence frames. For example, at the blank stage, the frog blank. And then for students with IEPs, I would have pre-filled diaphragms for them with fewer blanks. And then I'd also allow oral responses and not just written. And for advanced learners, I would have them compare the frog life cycle to a butterfly or another animal, and then have them create a mini life cycle book. My citation is for the Idaho State Department of Education's website. And then I also included a graphic organizer, which looks like this for a worksheet. And then I also have, and then, yeah, my reflections also on there. But so I think this was a really cute lesson, and I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you.